Hi Natalia, so nice to see these new essays from you. Let's take a look straight away and see what you wrote for us today. The restoration of old buildings, or new housing and new road development. Okay. Experts throughout the developing and developed world have debated, ED, about the importance of the maintenance of cultural heritage buildings. Can we call them cultural heritage buildings? Maybe buildings of historical significance, maybe historically significant buildings, buildings that showcase cultural heritage. All right, different things. I don't think you could have necessarily used this as an adjective like you have, okay? Some believe this should not be a priority compared with the rest of the country's apostrophe after the S necessities. However, personally, I partially, L-Y, disagree. This essay will discuss both views using examples for the Cultural Heritage Ministry from the Cultural Heritage Ministry and Culture to demonstrate points and prove arguments. If this is a title of a ministry, then you should probably capitalize it, okay? On the one hand, there's ample evidence about how much money government invests in the maintenance of the ancient architecture around cities. No two. The central reason behind this, without two, is twofold. Firstly, those buildings have unique architecture, and secondly, they can tell you the history of a country. However, it is important to establish priorities inside the nations. So, first of all, I want an example here. Okay, it's a lovely idea and it's very nice, but you have to support it. Explain to me what you mean. Okay, I think you could have supported this with one more sentence. However, it is important to establish priorities inside nations. I would have gotten rid of the to and the. For example, what good is having extraordinary buildings if some people have no place to live? Good question. I like that you put a question here because it kind of changes up it gets the reader's attention, okay? So, recent empirical research by the ONU demonstrated that almost all developing countries are now more worried about the investment of cities' appearance. Oh, okay. Are more worried about investment in cities' appearance with an apostrophe than social investment. Therefore, it is important to organize It is important to organize priorities in the nation's expenses. Also, I don't like that you had an apostrophe S here because usually you're referring to countries and cities in the plural. So this probably should have been nations plural and then apostrophe as well. On the other hand, it is clear. Let's try this again grammatically. This isn't working. So on the other hand, the value of old architecture and in the history, culture, and economy of countries is clear. Okay? The impact of these infrastructures has a fundamental role. It's not infrastructure. The architecture, you can't call it infrastructure. You can call it buildings. You can call it structures. Simple, okay? Has a fundamental role in the national identity and in the cultural heritage. For example, if these historical buildings disappeared, probably people in the world would have a lack in their background. Not a lack, maybe like a deficit. Like, I don't even know if you could say deficit. I just don't feel like this is the right word. Like something missing. In fact, they would lose the opportunity to interact with their past with a T, not an S. Consistent with this line of thinking is the high educational worth of these constructions without this here. Okay. You know what else I would have liked here? I mean, I would really like to see if you could put an example. Okay. So, like, for example, imagine if we couldn't see the Colosseum or we couldn't see the Parthenon. I mean, think about what a loss this would be, not just to the nation itself, but to the world in terms of history and heritage, cultural heritage, and so forth, okay? So I would have liked a more tangible example here rather than just being so theoretical. Okay, From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that it is necessary to preserve all the buildings which represent high value for the cultural heritage in each country, but at the same time it is necessary to establish a balance between the architectural maintenance and the rest of the country's needs. Let's see. Let me just read over your arguments again. So what do you think in the end? I partially disagree. Some people believe this should not be a priority. I partially disagree. Okay, so I'm trying to just get a sense of what you're more in favor of. Are you more in favor of this side? My point is this. The side that you are more in favor of has to come second. So it has to come closer to conclusion. I was under the impression that you were more in favor of this, and so I would think that this would go here. But if you are in favor of preserving these buildings, then this is an appropriate place to keep it. All right, it's nicely done. Like I said, there were some areas that I wanted you to develop a little more fully, but it's fine. It's a nice essay. Let's take a look at your task 1, Albion. Okay. Dear Sir Madam, I am writing you in response to the notice that I received about my absence in the math exam on Monday. My name is Natalia Andrea Gomez, student of the second year of agronomy. Okay, my student number is this, and my case number is this. First of all, I would like to apologize for the late answer. Another word that sounds a little more formal in this type of context would be the late reply. Okay, yeah, you already wrote response, so reply would have been good here. But I was very sick in the hospital and I was unable to contact the assigned teacher. During the field trip conducted last week, I ate something that was apparently in decomposition. Well, I don't know about that. I ate something that was, that had gone bad. Probably. That had apparently gone bad. For that reason, I suffered from acute gastroenteritis and stayed in the hospital for the last 5 days. As you know, I am here by myself, which makes things a little bit difficult in terms of support and accompaniment, which is the reason why nobody could advise the university about my situation. I have attached all the medical certification that involves my hospitalization and my incapacitation. Once again, I apologize for that noontime answer. Yours faithfully. Okay. I am under the impression that there's another thing that you're supposed to include here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought you were also supposed to say something about possible solutions to the answer. No? Isn't that part of this essay? I thought it was. I thought in this letter you're supposed to offer some possible resolutions. I don't see it here. Take a look and see if you were supposed to include it though. If you were, then you needed to make sure that you had at least 2 resolutions, okay? Nice job overall, Natalia. This was nicely written for the most part. Just a couple of little problems, but nothing major. So go ahead and correct them, add to your error correction list, and send them back, okay? I'm looking forward to seeing what you write, so good luck with it.